let's go for it now. I'm a few rounds down. The only hope is to go and swing. And that's what Coach Richard seemed to do, but he's breathing heavy.
Very heavy. How much did that onslaught just take out of him?
It's just body shots. He's
Big community did not expect as much out of OG. I think that I would say pro players, Peter, did anybody else expect this much out of OG?
People grow at this tournament. Yeah. The people at the very beginning of this tournament, the teams, they become totally different beasts by the end. So it's you know, they're riding a wave right now, and they're in the finals.
Voice from that corner of the ring.
They might be favorites.
Positive
encouragement. To answer your question,
good job from JMX.
Nobody expected it almost because there's only like one person who had it correct. So.
Yeah, I was actually expecting a nice Fnatic performance at this tournament.
Right, yeah.
I think we all were. I mean, you look at the lineup and you think that's a world-class.
Well, it's more about how they were playing in the first couple of days of the group stage. They just absolutely obliterated Liquid, and they were just moving through everybody like it was nothing, like they were nothing.
Yeah, strange how it moves on. How's the meta changed for you between the group stage and the main stage?
I've learned a lot about like crafting, obviously, but there's a lot of
these around there. The two fighters embrace. Joe, this one seems like a foregone conclusion.
I feel like you have to draft so well. You have to like trap your opponents into picking a hero that they don't really want to pick that doesn't like totally win your draft. Whereas on second pick, you're just like waiting to see where they're going to mess it up. Oh, we're going to go last pick Huskar, last pick Alchemist, last pick. Yeah, we're going to do a Drow strat or a Brood Mother, right? Luckily, I think in this series, I don't think either of these teams really prefers to play Brood Mother, but we should expect to see lots of Drow Ranger and Alchemist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and Storm.
Storm, yeah. That 18 pick Storm is really, really strong.
Yeah.
What have you made of that?
Those of you at home who are worried about True Geordie's charging,
yeah, it's definitely shifted. There's still a very large focus on the laning phase. I think this matchup, Enchantress is probably one of the heroes that I'm most interested to see if it gets let out of the pool, because EG has actually not been banning it in their last, like, I think 3 or 4 series. They've actually just left it out for teams to take.
Okay.
And shook it through.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the first lower bracket game of the day?
PSG LGD versus Evo Geniuses.
Ability going to have increased by like tenfold.
Here it is then, all on the line for Evo Geniuses and PSG LGD. Best of 3, game 1 incoming, draft just around the corner, and we'll get some thoughts from our 3 panel members. Black,
wow.
In terms of where they're going pick-wise, what do you expect from LGD?
You know what he means.
Strong lanes.
He's certainly one of those guys who's Hollywood. He's got the bravado,
they want to have a very well-rounded draft for the first 4 heroes, and then they want to pick like the game closer, probably for Amy, how do you pronounce that?
Ame God.
Ame God. Ame, yeah. So I'm expecting them to pick strong lanes, and then close it out with like a very strong lane, what a Terrorblade.
Well, you gotta say,
do you think Wisp gets through? I feel like that's a big juggle in the first phase of the draft. Is who wants to play against Wisp Gyro? Do you give up the Wisp and steal the Gyro? I really don't like that like block pick.
You don't?
It's very rough. But with the EG, they first pick Weaver and leave the Wisp open.
Yeah, exactly. So you take the Weaver, and Wisp is pretty bad against Weaver overall, but like Wisp Gyro is so hard to pass up.
And if Silencer gets left in the pool, like how badly do you really want the Wisp at that point in time?
If they get
yeah, how well the Silencer can counter the
Silencer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Silencer's banned.
Yeah, Silencer's out.
There you go.
But why do you think Silencer's good against Wisp?
I just thought the fact that you aren't able to relocate in with the global silence every single time you hear that noise, you just hit the global silence. We saw the way that it actually managed to counter Liquid in their attempt to run the Wisp Gyro. When they were facing up against Wisp Gyro, they didn't have a silencer. They actually were very susceptible to that split push, that kind of 3-on-2 style where you just play aggressive and can rely on the relocate. But once the silencer's in, you can't play that split pushy style.
I see. Yeah, the Wisp, it's actually pretty weak laner, and in some lanes, what he actually does is he provides like triple regen, like 300% regen to the carry, and that's why he works incredibly well with a hero like Gyrocopter, because Gyrocopter can just spam flat cannon and push out the wave towards his enemies, and once you get like creep wave advantage, it's hard for the enemies to actually go on you. So if you want to like beat this Gyro in lane, you have to out-regen him with heroes like Enchantress or Necrophos, because realistically, if you're any other hero in that lane, you have to constantly use the courier and spend all of your money on regen, because the Wisp is just, he's got like 300% healing on his like 6 tangos and his salve and his fairy fires, and that Gyrocopter is just, you know, constantly flat cannons, rockets, rocket barrage, and he just wears you down until the point where you just can't come back to that lane.
And considering how important the mid matchups are right now, like that 1v1 element that's kind of come back, like you just can't take the courier to the side of the map as much.
No, definitely not. EG bed Willow.
Well, we saw it last time.
Crit is like, that hero is so good, and Crit is like one of the best Willow
respectful words
players.
there from JMX after the boxing. Really fantastic stuff. Now over to Julia, who'll be analysing by the side of the ring.
I think it can be, especially because like there's that Wraith King Willow combination that's haunted so many teams throughout this tournament.
Oh yeah.
I think it's also a very strong hero against Wisp, so maybe that helps protect the possible Wisp first pick.
I mean, EG took like 50 seconds of the bonus time to ban this hero, so they definitely discussed it quite a lot, I guess.
They're probably EG has first pick, right?
They do.
Yeah, so they're worried about that 2-3, maybe that Wraith King Dark Willow. They don't want to take one of those heroes on first pick, but they also didn't want to like deal with that combo because it can be really tough to manage. Also, like if you like some teams did a couple like first pick Wraith Kings or first pick Tinies, and then they would like for the Willow. Yeah. A lot of times like Willow's moved up so high in priority. If you first pick that Wraith King, people pick Willow, and Willow's really good against Wraith King because you just dodge and stun, and it's really easy to hit him with your AoE spells. Expect the Necrophos 2-3 then, right?
Yeah. Should be a Necrophos response.
And I like Necrophos up against the Wisp, but Wisp Gyrocopter actually has like a pretty good. They have some skills to kill Necro.
And I think this has been proven to be one of the most potent aggro dual lanes. Earthshaker able to protect the Enchantress so much. It's interesting, you're talking about how the Enchantress and Necrophos being good against the Wisp Gyro, just because the lane. But then we've traditionally thought of Gyro being good against them because of the fact of like the magic damage.
Enchantress is a hero that you really have to play. You have to like you rely on playing through your lanes. And if your lane, let's just say your Enchantress lane loses, which it's pretty difficult to make that happen because she's so good in lane. Yeah. The game can be really difficult. But if you have a way to kill the Enchantress, maybe in like the mid to late game, then losing your lane at the beginning isn't that big of a deal. And Wisp especially, like that hero plays from behind very well for all those reasons that we talked about. And there's not that silencer in the pool this time to like negate that global map presence.
And I think that really emphasizes what we've been saying, right? That the laning phase is so important to be able to win out.
Face
but
Sensei.
generally, it's also quite scary to play Io Gyro against the Shaker, right? If you ever get to blink, you want to relocate in, you can actually shut both of you down and almost immediately burst both of you down as well.
Yeah, the Shaker is, I think it's just one of LGD's favorite heroes, especially FY's, and it's, the hero's pretty miserable in lane, I would say. He's one of the worst laners in the meta right now, but because you have such a powerful laner and Enchantress, you have the opportunity to get away with it.
That's annoying.
It's annoying, right? Heroes too, like Alina, for example. If you have Alina, you block the guy off, the guy just immediately dies or gets harassed out of lane.
I feel like a lot of teams are trying to emphasize that, right? Their first two picks is they want to be able to have a really strong laner, these Enchantresses, Necrophos, Weavers, these kind of heroes, but they still want a really strong team fighter in as well. Earthshaker, Dark Willow, these kind of heroes.
Into the second phase of the draft here, we're going to see LGD's 2 bans. They're most likely banning 2 heroes that they think that will be incredibly good with the hero they want to pick out the phase. So up against like a Gyro Wisp, you kind of already have your Earthshaker lane, so you maybe just want to ban out some strong laners and then pick the best hero or pick the best core in the pool. Ursa and Weaver are Spectre as well. Because obviously popular pick as a Batrider ban, that could be leading into a Spectre, right?
There's potentially more pressure on Tiny.
Man, Spectre, dude. On a Spectre, I feel like every time the OG plays Spectre, they're just like defending against Mega Creeps, and then they somehow win the game.
Yeah. But every time I see him, he like keeps fighting, and he runs away with like 50 health, and he just doesn't die. Just like uphill misses and everything, just like, I don't know, that guy just can't die on a hero.
And when he does finally die, he is prepared for that, has buyback, and then buys back Hans and wins the team fight.
Spectre's pretty annoying to play against, I'd say.
So what are some of the other offlaners that you want to protect a Spectre pick? If you're kind of leading that way with the Batrider ban, what else is out there?
I think somebody that can just like really bully you on the lane. I'm a big my team is a big fan of Candace up against like a melee hero like that.
Right.
I'm not sure where EG rates that hero. I know S4's been playing a lot more more semi-carries
600,000 roughly
rather
for
than
Face
these, like,
Sensei, and of course
team-fight
500,000
initiator
for
heroes. I don't think
Flow.
EG's been playing very many of those at all.
It feels like kind of their style, right? They want to be able to win the lanes, but they also want to be greedy enough that they win late game, and that's maybe where they
generally
get
Crit has been playing lots of initiators for them. Like really starting off these team fights, and same thing with Sumail, right? On this Alchemist and this Tiny, like blinking in and starting people. Those are heroes definitely to look out for. EG also does have that 18 pick,
It's very different in boxing,
which
isn't it?
is
You're
they
someone
kind
who
of
watches UFC a lot
pseudo-ban
and
the
knows
Storm
the
Spirit by
difference
picking
between
their
the two.
Earthshaker, I think, but that could still be an option for EG. It actually pairs really, really well with the Wisp in the game because you have such high mobility on the map. Like Storm can jump, Storm could jump from like mid lane to top lane, and then Wisp Gyro relocating, and all of a sudden like LGD can't split up at all.
You have to play a 5-man constantly. Lanes are getting pushed in.
And Kunkka.
Going for Tiny.
Take the Tiny away.
So is that not going to make any difference? There'll be kids sitting at home who are thinking, oh, he's heavier, therefore he's better.
The only time I've seen Kunkka bans this tournament has been after Broodmother picks.
Who's the better boxer?
And
we're about to find
I guess
out in just under a minute. The first of the two of these guys are going to be ring walking.
Crit's played some support Kunkka, but I imagine that Crit is going to be playing the Wisp for EG here.
There is
and then we're going to see some fly here, whether it be Phoenix, which
Sensei
definitely might be up there.
Whereas Overt Flow says
Lich.
his kind
They've been
demeanour
favouring the
contagious
Phoenix
laugh.
and the
I feel like
Undying.
that's a
Those are the
backhanded
three that
compliment
they've
in
been
a way.
playing.
By the way, sorry, is actually Overt Flow.
Lich is also so annoying.
I think they'll probably go for Phoenix.
Hated hero, yeah.
It's a really, really
make the most
hero.
sense, yeah. And they don't really have anything that Lich is like particularly good against.
No, not at all.
Yeah. All magic damage,
big
pure
comebacks to
damage.
victories when he looked like he was losing.
So you definitely need to bolster up your team fight here for
might
EG.
help him in this fight.
And
You want catch. You want catch for sure. If you have Aya, you always want
This
catch.
is the point
Yeah,
where we're
that's
realizing
going to come later.
it's serious tonight, guys, because this fight's serious.
I think that's going to come with the
Without
Sumail.
doubt,
Maybe they might even go for that 18 Storm
first of the two
Spirit
ring
still.
walks coming up
Just because
right
they're so
now.
confident in the hero. It might also come with the Alchemist.
Undying, yeah. There's a team fighter. Very good against all the heroes. Nobody really has good attacks to deal with the Tombstone.
And they recognize that
You
this
see
Earthshaker
your
and
announcer in
Tiny
the middle of the ring,
this early
Buddy
into the draft
Johnson.
makes
What a
Undying
voice he's
always
got
a
on him.
quality pick to help you get through laning phase.
What's the position 5 that X Nova like good against Undying? I feel like everything he likes is not really too good.
I think Bane is pretty solid.
Bane, Witch Doctor maybe?
Yeah, Bane's got really high movement speed, he's got high armor, he's got high HP, he trades pretty effectively with Brain Sap.
Oh, there's Keemstar
Undying.
behind him as well, throwing the money.
He doesn't want to just be like chasing around ranged heroes.
Yeah,
It's pretty sad.
like
Keem, of course, running drama alert, so he is going to be at full flow tonight, isn't he?
He just bullies the Undying.
Yeah, Undying's pretty upset in that matchup, but then you have an
I like
18
it when
profit up against
fighters
Wisp
come into
Gyro.
hip-hop. It just makes you feel
Wisp
like
Gyro,
you're ready
they
for a
love
fight.
pushing out lanes.
Yeah.
It sets
You
the
go for the
tone.
Bane, yeah. Comfort hero.
Perfect.
Really good for
Quite
the
a road
the
there
being able
for
to get that
Flow.
people on.
Yeah, and EG has no stuns, so let's
He's
just
a
say they
well-built
relocate
lad.
into
Yes,
the fight. Bane
that's
decides,
certainly one way of
oh,
putting
look
it. I
this
feel like
guy,
his
I'll
upper
feature
body
this guy,
is,
and all of a sudden
you can
that
see he's
fly
got a lot of
cannon's
power
not doing any
in those
damage.
pectoral muscles.
Well,
They
to get
definitely
those
need to pick up two
submissions
stunners
in
on him, you know.
BJJ, you have to be
Or
able
some sort of
to
assailant.
cramp
Okay,
links.
what's the
You know what I mean?
Alchemist?
You have to have stamina.
What do you think
in that
about the lane
strength.
Alchemist Tiny?
It's not like a
Do they fight
weightlifting
five?
kind of strength over 10
I
seconds.
actually
It's a
just
lot
think
more.
Alchemist just
It's
wins
not
this
some kind of
matchup.
power. Might
That's
see
the
that
way
play
I think that if he gets tanky enough to not die to this like level 5 tiny combo, and then I think after that, the game is just pretty free for him. I think he's
I'm
pretty
excited for this war.
And people underestimate it too. When you're actually that tiny, you stand in that acid spray, the creep wave hits you for like 25
A lot of
damage
the
every hit.
KSI crowd will
Because
know
it's
Face
zero armor.
Sensei through the videos he
So
did
in
with
this
JJ
case,
not
is
long
it
ago.
enough of a liability that you're thinking about changing your mid
was
laner
enjoying this
to your
tune.
PSG
Oh, this is a banger.
It's just really tough to do at this
Producer
point in your
Face.
draft. And EG is going to make another
think
pick to make
the
him even
entrance
question,
music is very
picking
pivotal
some Alchemist.
for the fighter
What do you think
and
about
how he's going to feel
I don't know,
making his
PSG,
way in
like
there.
Terrorblade in these kind of
Lost
situations?
his way on the way to the
Like
ring
him
there.
up very-
He's written that.
Terrorblade's okay. It's just
And now he's
you
waiting
have
for
a
someone
pretty rough time
to...
in laning against Undying in a lot of games. And
Joking around with you there, Jerry. I pretended he was going to jump through the table. What a character.
I think EG's done a really good job with this draft. so
Lovely
far.
way to
Really
bounce him
draft
outside the ring,
Alchemist.
I hear.
I think that this last pick, most likely a carry for Ame, is going to be really, really difficult. What they could maybe potentially do is just, you know, have Ame play that tiny in the safe lane and pick a new mid laner. Like, Bloodseeker's already banned.
Yeah, I think it's banned.
What do you pick?
It's rough.
Yeah, he's not a big tiny player either, is he?
No, he's not. He likes these really hard carries.
Huskar is still in the pool, I believe.
They banned out the Morphling. Venomancer.
Yeah, so they could Huskar.
They could Huskar.
But I maybe didn't have the best Huskar. I think he played Huskar the other day. Or maybe that was Ori.
There was a maybe Huskar
Yeah.
they won with, I think.
No, it lost.
In the OG series, right? Maybe he played some Huskar against Wisp Gyro.
How do you feel about Storm Spirit?
They won the group game.
matchup against Alchemist. It's a hero that gets on top of IO and Venomancer. No
you
stun.
could do it. I just worry that your draft just wouldn't have the late game potential in the game.
Yeah.
We were chatting about it throughout the draft. Peter made the point that it's a swine to play against, to say the least. But it is in the game. So, 5 heroes are drawn. The commentary team are ready. But before we get there, let's check in once more with our statistician inside
the arena is in
Thank you, Red Eye. This series features the 2 most dominant franchises in TI history. Over 180 combined wins at the International all-time, and they've also been the 2 most dominant teams in this tournament. They are #1 and #2 in team gold per minute and experience per minute. But as you see on screen, unlike previous years, these aren't farming teams. They average the top 2 kill averages at the 22-minute mark, at the 20-minute mark in this tournament, almost a full kill ahead of any other team. Watch out for S4's tower pressure in this tournament. Watch out for EG's team fight. They've been head and shoulders above any other team. Over 80 team assists per match. No other team over 68 in the event. Maybe he's going to try and take over the game early. He's averaging 5 kills per match at the 20-minute mark on the main stage, easily more than any other player. Will LGD make it East versus West, or will EG set up the ultimate grand final grudge match? Put your hands together for Lyrical and Trent.
Thank you so much, Nahaz. And ladies and gentlemen, here in the Rogers Arena, we have a lower bracket finals. Trent, it's East versus West already at the get-go. How are you feeling about this game?
The crowd was in here so early today, ready to watch a bloodbath, as the numbers seem to be putting it here. The stats don't lie. It is an insane amount of kills between the two teams to start the game. Not expecting anything less when it comes to a lower bracket final.
Totally, and you look at these picks that they've got as well. The Spectre so often being that late game, you need to be able to secure it early, otherwise it just takes over. But on the other side, you've got the Alchemist. Greed is always good, and they might be able to make it work. How you feeling about that little dynamic as well?
I would say definitely a signature hero for Sumail at this point. He's looked fantastic on the Alchemist, and I think Ame was very well protected during the draft. You saw the heavy bans on these really strong laners, like the Necrophos, the Bat Rider, the Bloodseeker, all these heroes taken out of the pool. Spectre looks pretty good. So, see if they can get Spectre a nice lane. Will the hero carry late like she has done so many times this tournament, or will the Io Gyro duo continue to reign?
I mean, that's really one of the biggest things to watch as well. As already we got some chants coming out from the crowd here. Io Gyro stealth.
Yeah, we have had a couple problems early on. Sometimes if you can manage to find this pressure into the laning phase, but again, it doesn't look all too scary right now. I do think Chalice has looked very good on the Enchantress at times, and currently both of the bottom runes, but big mysteries. The problem for EG is it's very difficult to contest runes when you don't know where the Bane is. And so with him now wandering that Spectre actually up the lane, this was something we were wondering about in terms of, like, how do you get off to a good start in one of these series, right? Like, every little moment counts, and you can see we were trying to go for a courier snipe there, hoping that they'd be a little bit lazy with it, but not going to happen. And the lane swap is still happening right now for EG as Arteezy's heading to the top to join his IO.
Yeah, wanting to make that long wraparound. Obviously, you go to a lane, you see a bad matchup there, then you have to TP. The other person can just follow you. They want to make sure they get those lanes the way they want them right from the get-go.
I thought he did well there.
Yeah. To me,
showed a lot of heart.
The most interesting dynamic in this match is going to be between our Alchemist and our Tiny. S4,
bottom lane.
He's the one in trouble.
In some trouble. FY and X-Nova able to turn that back around, and now Fly also just trying to escape from this early aggression. They really want to secure that Spectre. Great start.
And although she's the hero who's not there, Enchantress is the key to this, because this hero, she can be on her own. She's so strong in the lane. It allows you to pick heroes like Earthshaker, and you don't really have to be there with her. You can, sure, have a weak presence in her lane, or you can rotate around the map and get a quick kill in a little tri-lane like that, and then they'll rotate Ame up to try and get him out of that matchup.
Yeah, immediately just backing away, and now they're going to have the net out already onto the IO. Crit taking damage and is going to be punished a few more times. They have the homing missile, which is going to stop.
So typically, the problem that happens is that if you're the first team to rotate, then obviously their team will just TP to make that match back up. But with the kill onto S4 and him returning that bottom lane, you can instantly TP the Spectre out, and now they have to just kind of stick with this matchup that they've been put into.
Chalice playing in the supportish type of role right now on that Enchantress, at least for the moment.
Joe, you've got
to head off to the side camp to farm. In the meantime, X-Nova going to TP top.
Yeah.
Take that place.
He took some attention bottom, but FY grabs the wave, pulls it back over to the tower. This will allow Chalice to rotate over if he wants for this, or FY can just take it for himself. He already has that really early boots on the Shaker, and again, a little extra gold, but Chalice will make the rotation down here, and we'll rotate up to the IO, keep harassing there, and a good bit of farm for your support Shaker.
Yeah, and this is what we've seen work so often in this tournament as well, is teams getting that sort of 3.5 type of hero as S4 is going to connect these priests behind his tower as well. That way you can get into those big blink dagger plays that we've seen so often from Shakers in this main event.
You can see though this mid lane, we haven't been here too much, but Sumail struggling a little bit here, only at 5 CS. 13 and 9 denies so far from Maybe, looking very good, up to 10.
Yeah, Tiny's having a hell of a game already. And Ame taking the Rocket Barrage behind them as well, but X-Nova is going to be there to try and make sure that lane doesn't go too terribly.
He almost doesn't want to lock up.
Fly, get into position, throws out the fissure, ensuring the Chalice gets out fine.
And that's the end.
Wow. Not a lot of heroes that can stand in lane versus the Undying, but interestingly one of them. We'll be watching for that vision game. We talked a lot about it for LGD, but what's important is that you don't let Sumail catch up in that jungle. You can see right now he's trading blows back forth. Maybe he wants to try and make a play.
Yeah, top lane as well.
From a thought about it going on. He's always trying to just get a little shot in, but they keep these pushback as they just show that he's still very much in these.
Underneath their tier 1 tower.
That early ward vision has already been placed down though. They want to watch that jungle area where the Alchemist wants to catch back up because they know they're having a rough time already. And they use that to a great advantage in the earlier games to constantly pressure the enemy mid when they go for these catch-up plays. And as a Tiny, your whole role is to try and get fat in the lane really quick, get your kill levels and kill items, and go around the map and secure your team's advantage for your Spectre.
Speaking of Spectre, under fire by Arteezy, and they are going to find another kill. EG.
Yeah, X-Nova was busy with the wave, trying to get some pulls off, and advantage taken there by EG, now leading 2-1.
One of the strengths of this combination, obviously, is the early kills you can get with the Spirits. As Chalice able to find the deny, still running away. There's a lot of aggression on him, but that heal is always going to fly, though. A regen rune from Undying, this is fantastic. This guy's usually willing to kill himself to get free mana.
Sensei's speed is really.
And that means that he's set up to come and contest for the 5-minute runes as well. As another missile onto the head of Ame. Currently ever so slightly behind the gyrocopter, but it does really feel like the story of this game so far is the Tiny kind of dominating the Alchemist in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's all about what you make of it, though. We've seen some pretty fantastic games from the Bloodseeker out of the mid lane for LGD. We'll see if they can replicate that as well with the Tiny.
The storm at the beginning of the round.
Fly
and
down
then,
bottom.
yeah, once he's a bit more tired,
his presence to Chalice, and they can always make S4 feel uncomfortable on this Venomancer. The wave is going to be pushed under tower yet again. Fly sort of zoning them back as well. So there's no dire
I think we could
possibilities
see
at all.
a change in attitude now.
With the 5-minute mark coming up.
Same amount of respect.
Sumail just farming away in the jungle. Fly is going to try and go for this rune here. FY does still have the fissure, but not going to be able to throw it out in time.
Looking over the side of the ring there,
Sensei dances away. But now the question is, can they hold back the catapult push? That's what we were thinking about when it comes to an edge lineup, but they have an Undying and a Venom, so I'm going to say it should be all right, as long as they keep those heroes down here for a while. Actually trying to pressure onto that Harpy creep. Good choice here by Fly. It's so irritating if you let it keep spamming.
Yeah, this is kind of a cool look. I mean, this is an Undying. He can just run up and hit people. He doesn't care about it, so he takes down the creep. And with the catapults coming in, they're going to try and hold on.
And he lands it again.
He won't win that battle, but he's still stealing this experience from him.
He definitely did level 2 on that Earthshaker.
Now this is the closest we've ever come to talking the talk and walking the walk.
TP out of there. It does look like he'll escape. As the
He literally leant over the side of the ring there. He pointed straight at True Geordie and just said, left hand liver shot.
I don't know, he's in a world of hurt here. Now, the one good thing is that this is not
he took to the gut there.
It's only a matter of time now, surely.
I said that Adgar was coming out there.
Burden on him.
As soon as he
He's an
dropped
Iowa
him, he was like,
on his
no,
team.
not that way. Again.
Just going straight for him now.
It's not necessarily the
You can hear the arenas come to life now.
He will eventually catch up on that as well.
Waved off by the referee.
Sensei, he absolutely called it.
It was that moment of, well,
He looked at me as he drops him. He goes, how about that?
it was that moment of MMA which lit up the ring there. Absolutely incredible stuff. The two guys embrace because there is still respect there, bowing to each other.
Can they find this kill? More damage coming out with the brain tap. They throw out the missile, and Arteezy diving under the tower. Samus, he wanted to toss it back, but he wasn't able to quite grab him.
switch. Something in his brain.
Couldn't go for risky TV. Actually, nothing there that would have canceled it, but he's not exactly followed up on the level tracks.
No, I'm not going on my back tonight. That wasn't part of the plan. I'm looking at Keemstar.
2-2 already, and you can feel the tension between these two, wanting to get off to a great start. Samus stuck around, and RTZ moving away with crit there as well. They're slowed down, but with Fly in the area, it's a little bit too dangerous.
Yeah, this is a lot of attention up top, though, so it is giving some space to Sumail as a wave will actually hit the tower.
Illness to have.
But a very dangerous 3-on-3.
I don't see that around much.
Yeah, Sumail loves this, particularly if you just find that one kill onto the idol. I feel like EG are incredibly happy with the start.
Yeah, as long as they don't feed anything away to Maybe while he still sticks around. In fact, they will actually smoke because they're heading back towards mid. So this Radiant Observer ward near the top rune going to be covering.
To come to me and tell me the shot that he was going to end the fight.
7.5 minutes.
I love it.
He must have been
Alchemist.
He must have been slightly.
He wrote it down
running into the jungle. He spots him out though. And the tiny chasing Avalanche not quite there within range. He is going to run away, but there's the toss up. Can they find the kill? Yes.
Wow. I hold this up. Can you see that? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought they might have to wait for ward there, but able to hold on to it. And then likely you're going to try and de-ward near that area, right? It kind of looked like they might have had a vision there as they were going up to Sumail coming up the stairs. So might take some de-ward. They might end up missing this ward.
Yeah. Third round, never shot.
Secured by LGD. And that was such a storyline in the previous series that we saw from them, how much vision Xnova was able to provide for his team. And this one, FY that's doing it as well.
I mean, you look at the top shrine area for EG and a very sneaky ward, like inside the neutrals there. The spot when he's trying to catch up in his jungle.
That's real money.
Creep wave will be pulled back. As 3 members of LGD move top, and Alchemist still under vision, but trying to farm up to the best of his ability while Samus takes down that mid tier 1 tower.
No one can contest this right now, unless they're going to bring their full force with the Undying. That'd be the best bet. Heads at level 3 Tombstone. Doesn't look like they're willing to commit the Arcane Rune on.
Sensei takes it.
Rather threatening.
Unbelievable.
Calls it as well.
Meanwhile, FY moves into the jungle just to sort of mess around with Sumail and soak up experience, possibly set up for a kill as well.
They might secure themselves in a tower.